Hey everyone, hey wellness crew, and welcome to today's practice. I am so glad that you are joining me. Below is a button that says thanks. If you would please utilize that just so that way I can increase the quality of these videos as well as hopefully get a rented studio. So thank you so much. So let's go ahead and get started with some sun salutations. Breathing in, raising up our arms. Swan diving into a forward fold, exhaling. Walking our hands forward into plank. Coming into hovering, where only the palms of our hands, the balls of our feet, and our toes are in contact with the mat, nothing else. Unless you have a really long belly button ring. It's still on the mat. Coming into upward dog. Coming into downward dog. Stepping the right foot forward for crescent lunge. Bringing the hands back down to the mat. Switching those legs out, bringing the left foot forward for crescent lunge on the left-hand side. And bringing the hands back down. I'm going to switch my angle, but you stay exactly as you are. Coming back into downward facing dog. We're going to go ahead and step one foot forward, the other one meets it, forward fold. And we're going to slowly roll up, bringing our palms to our sides, having our fingers extended. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Falling forward into a forward fold. Stepping our feet back for plank. Coming into hovering. Coming into upward dog. Tucking our toes underneath to get into downward dog. Stepping that right foot forward for crescent lunge. Having our arms extended above us. Bringing our hands back down to the mat, bringing that right foot back, bringing that left foot forward, coming into crescent lunge on the left-hand side. And bringing our hands back down, coming into downward facing dog. Walking our hands in towards our feet, forward fold. And slowly rolling up. All right, last one. Bringing our arms up overhead, swan diving into a forward fold. Exhaling. Walking our hands forward into plank. Coming into hovering. Coming in to upward dog. Tucking our toes underneath for downward facing dog. Stepping that right foot forward, coming into crescent lunge on the right hand side. You got this. You can do it. And bringing our hands down to the mat, bringing that right foot back, stepping the left foot forward, and coming into crescent lunge on the left hand side. And bringing our hands down to the mat, coming back into downward facing dog. Stepping one foot forward, the other foot meets it, forward fold. And slowly rolling up, coming into mountain position. So having our hands, our palms facing forward, our fingers nice and spread. Just take a nice few deep breaths right here. All right, perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to do a bit of a flow that's also going to include some balance postures, or poses, I should say. So we'll get started with that. We're going to go ahead, bring our arms back. You know what this means. We're coming into chair. From there, what I want you to do is bring your left ankle to your right thigh. Bring your hands into prayer position. Squat down as low as you can while keeping your chest up. Going ahead, lowering that left leg, switching to the right leg on the left, or the right ankle on the left thigh, I should say. Again, squatting down as low as you can while keeping that chest up. And releasing, coming back into chair flow. And coming back to bringing that right ankle onto the left thigh. I might have done it the other way, the opposite way last time. We'll stick with this way. And releasing. Oh, I shouldn't have released it. It should have stayed low. So staying low, squatting down on one leg. That left ankle is over the right thigh. Our chest is facing up as much as possible. And awesome. Coming back into chair flow. Two more. All right, hands in prayer position. Oh, that's okay. All right, so left ankle over the right thigh. Trying to get that squat as low as you can get it while keeping the chest up. And staying low, having that that right ankle come on to the left thigh, right above the knee. And perfect. All right, coming back into that chair flow. Two more. Pair hands. All right, there we go. Left ankle over right thigh. That's some semblance of order. And staying low, switching sides, getting down in that squat, lifting up that chest. All right, again, chair flow. Two more. And we're gonna bring that right ankle to the left thigh. Well, it was good while it lasted. We got two that were the same, that's all right. I guess if you don't work on your imbalances, it's kind of like not helpful anyways, because when we are working on balance stuff, I tend to make them even keeled, even though our bodies tend to actually not need that. Our left and right side are very different just based on natural motion. So it might be good if you end something kind of early or get out of something, just so that way your asymmetry will lessen and your symmetry will increase. All right, and last time. Awesome. Bringing that left ankle over the right thigh. Lowering down into as deep of a squat as you can go, lifting up that chest. And staying low, whoops, bringing that right ankle over the left thigh, bringing our hands into prayer position, trying to get as low as you can with that squat, but go ahead and keep your chest up. All right, perfect. So that was the chair flow and balance flow that I really wanted to do. Let's go ahead, get back on to our bodies. So we're going to go ahead and start in plank position. Coming into downward dog, plank position, downward dog, plank position, downward dog, plank, downward dog, plank, downward dog, plank, downward dog. All right, now we're going to go ahead and add the kiss of the knees to the mat. Plank, kiss, plank, downward, plank, kiss, plank, downward. 3 more. All right, so now to this, what we're going to do is we're going to lift up our right leg, lower it back down, right, while we're in downward dog. That would be helpful if I did it right. So while in downward dog, we're going to lift up our right leg, lower it down, come into plank, open that leg out to the side, come into hovering, come into upward dog, come into downward dog, and come into plank. Opening up that leg, coming into hovering, coming into upward dog, tucking our toes underneath to come into downward dog. Lift up the left leg, lift up the right leg, lift up the left leg, right, left, right, left. We're going to make a figure 4, come into plank, come back into downward dog, figure 4, switching sides. So our left ankle is behind the bottom part of our right thigh. All right, and then real quick, we're just gonna do a pose to kind of do the antithesis of that, since we are gonna be remaining in a similar position for a little bit. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring our head to the mat. We're gonna go ahead, interlace our fingers behind our back, and we're gonna go ahead and extend those hands as far as they will go. And bringing those arms back to your lower back, bringing them back to the mat. We're going to go ahead and get back into plank position. We're going to go ahead, bring our right knee to our right elbow, our left knee to our left elbow, right knee in, kiss the mat, plank. Out, out, in, kiss the knee, downward facing dog, not plank. So plank, out, out, in, downward facing dog. Oh no, I forgot. The knees kiss the mat, and then downward facing dog. All right, so plank, out, out, in, knees kiss the mat, plank, and out, out, in, knees kiss the mat, and plank. I'm sorry, and downward dog. All right, we're gonna go ahead and come into a child's pose. Trying to get our bottoms on our heels, having our forehead on the mat, extending our arms nice and straight in front of us, taking nice deep breaths in this position. Oh, let me do something I forgot to do real quick. There we go. We're still in child's pose. All right, from child's pose, we're going to go ahead and get into a straddle, standing, a standing straddle. We're going to go ahead and walk our hands forward, come into a micro push-up, come back, and fall forward for a straddle forward fold. Walking our hands forward into plank, micro push-up, pushing our hands back, walking them back, and going ahead and coming into a hanging forward fold. And walking our hands forward into plank, micro push-up, and walking our hands back into forward fold while you're hanging. And walking our hands forward, micro push-up, walking our hands back, and coming into a straddled forward fold while we're hanging. That just means grabbing either of your elbows with the opposite hand. And walking our hands forward, micro push-up, walking our hands in, and hanging forward fold. Walking our hands forward, micro push-up from plank, walking our hands back, and coming into that forward fold. Walking our hands forward into plank, micro push-up, walking our hands back, coming into a forward fold. We have two more, then we're moving on. Walking our hands forward, plank, micro push-up, and walk back into forward fold. And walking our hands forward, micro push-up, walk the hands back, come into a hanging forward fold. All right, this time what we're going to do is we're going to reach for our right ankle with our right hand. We're going to reach for our left with our left hand. Hold on, let me do this right. I'm sorry, we're going to bind a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and bend our right knee just a little bit. We're going to bring our palm facing upward toward the sky, and then we're going to bring our left hand. Let me see if I can show you somehow. So binding it like that, okay? So we're on the right hand side. And we're doing this simply by bringing our right arm underneath our right leg. And then going ahead, bringing that right hand down, bringing that left arm up. And then going ahead, bringing that left hand down, leaving that right hand down, scooting that back foot forward just a bit to get into triangle, and falling forward. All right, trying to hinge up from your hip if possible. Coming into that straddled forward fold, we're going to go ahead. Let's see how I did this. Bend this knee. Here we go. Okay. So bend this knee, wrap the left arm around the left leg. This feels wrong. We're going to say it's right though. That's just what we're going to say, but it doesn't feel right. But that wouldn't make sense either. Oh well. We'll just say it's right. We're going to go ahead, bring our left hand in towards the inside of our left foot, reaching our right arm up. And bringing that hand down, that right hand down with the left hand already down. We're going to scoot up that back right leg and we're going to fall forward for pyramid. You're doing an awesome job. Thanks for sticking with me thus far. All right, we're going to go ahead, hinge up from the hip. We're going to come into a kneeling squat, a deep squat. I forgot the name. It's like I had it all those months and then I just lost it. This is not a goblet squat, so I know that. It'll come back to me one day. I'm intentionally not trying to find out because I want to just remember it like naturally. I don't know, we'll see. I'm sure someone will comment and be like, oh, it's this pose. And I'll be like, no, I'm trying to figure it out. All right, from here, we're going to go ahead, get into a seated position. We're going to have our fingers facing our body. We're going to go ahead and come into a modified boat, bring our heels down, and lift them back up. And if you would like to slowly straighten them, you totally can. Almost there. All right, we're gonna go ahead, get into a supine position. We're gonna have our legs as straight as we can have them. We're going to have them both going, so the right leg is going to go in a counterclockwise position and the left leg is going to go in a clockwise position. So basically they're both coming inwards. And reversing. And coming back into that modified boat. We're going to go ahead and have our fingertips facing our bodies, lifting up those heels and coming back down. Going with your own breath. All right, from there, let's go ahead real quick and get into a seated saddle. We're gonna go ahead and come into full saddle. Okay, so that's coming onto your forearms. If this is safe for you, if this is comfortable for you, stay right here, okay? But if you need some more, you can come all the way down. And slowly coming onto our forearms. And going ahead and getting into a supine position. We're going to go ahead, lift our legs, bring our arms out to the side, lift our legs, or you can have them down. That's fine too. And we're going to have them starting with going inwards. And reversing. Perfect. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring our fingers interlaced behind our heads. We're going to go ahead, come up into that crouching position, kick our legs out so the left leg is straight down, the right leg is at a diagonal angle, and you can bring your head down as you bring that leg down. Crouch, kick, and down. Kick, and down. kick, and down, 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 kick, down, kick, down, kick, down, and down, and down. Got 5 more. You can do it. Crouch, kick, down, crouch, kick, down, crouch, kick, down, crouch, kick, down, crouch, kick, and down. All right, awesome. Let's go ahead and get into Sphinx. You can see me literally sliding on these yoga mats from the sweat. But that's Texas. So having our shoulders back and down as best as we can. Our hands are closer in than they are in upward facing dog. We're really trying to get a nice stretch in our abdominal area. And get a bit of an arch in our back. If it's too much, you can always feel free to come onto your forearms for seal. I really honestly think this should be seal and the other one should be Sphinx, and it might actually be that way. There's so many different names for so many different yoga poses, and especially with the stuff that I infuse into these sessions, it's sometimes a little bit difficult to keep up with. But I'm good. All right, a few more deep breaths. All right, coming into child's pose, opening up our knees. Try not to slide on your yoga mat if you're sweaty too. Coming onto your forehead, really reaching with those hands, with those fingers, with those palms. All right, going ahead, coming into a seated position. We're going to bring the soles of our feet together, and we're going to come forward into a forward fold. And slowly rolling up, we're going to go ahead and get into pigeon. So extending our left leg back, our right foot is forward, the knee is bent. You can start with your hands right by your leg, or you can come onto your forearms. You can come onto your forehead on your forearms, or you can extend your arms directly in front of you and have your forehead on the mat just like in child's pose. Now, the reason that I'm showing this is because whenever I have gotten some comments that people would like the camera to be closer. However, every time I try to do this, it will take out sections of the yoga mat that I think are important. So that's kind of why I did bring it forward a little bit, but I wanted you guys to kind of see that that's kind of why I don't bring it that much forward too much. I kind of work with what I got. We're going to go ahead and grab that left leg or that left foot with the left hand. We're going to have the palm of our hand by our right knee. And extending that left leg, we're going to go ahead, bring the left leg up and forward with a bent knee, coming onto our hands, our forearms, bringing our forehead to our forearms, or extending our arms straight. And slowly coming up, going ahead, coming into a straddle position. And we're going to go ahead and come forward. And sometimes just recognizing like when you're holding tension, not necessarily like having a knot or a anything like that, but just noticing when you're tense, right? Trying to practice mindfulness, and hopefully this yoga does help you with that. But I also want it to challenge you sometimes. But if you can notice when you're holding tension, like right now, I just noticed that I was holding a lot of tension all on my legs. And so immediately I was like, whew, okay, let me like exit that out. That's what ideally I would like for you to do in the mobility sessions that we have, which end on any session that ends on 1 and 6 now. And pay attention to, we're going to go to the right hand side, bringing our left foot into our right thigh, but paying attention to where you're holding on to stress right now, bringing our left arm over. So just so you're aware of it, just so you're aware of what you're holding on to, you know, maybe not trying to delve into why so much. You can for sure. That would be the well way to go. But you know, if you're just not ready for that, or if that's something that you don't want to do, then that's something you don't have to do. And coming on to the left side, extending that left leg, bringing that right foot to the inside of the left thigh, grabbing our left foot with our left hand and bringing that right arm overhead. And any movement that you cannot do, that you have a difficult time doing, I have no problem with you adjusting it to fit you, to fit what works best for you. There's no issue with that. All of my routines have been different, every single one. None of them is the same. With the exception of, I believe, one time. I've never worn the same outfit twice. If you want to go check out the thumbnails, not one time, but with one particular outfit. So yeah, you can go check out my thumbnails and see if that's a fact. um, but I say that because I, have a lot of old content that is definitely a good variety and mix of yoga. All right, we're gonna go ahead and lift up our arms, and we're gonna come forward into another forward fold with our feet together this time. Our our necks are nice and loose. The crown of our head is towards our knees. But yes, if you want variety and mix, what I tend to do, and this is completely unconsciously, is I get kind of hooked on certain patterns, certain movements, and then I switch it up, and then I switch it up, and I just kind of have a certain way that I do things. It's not everything is entirely free flow. I do think about, certain poses that I want to get done before the end of the session. But for the majority of it, yes, a lot of it is in the moment free flow because I feel like that is what serves everybody the best. And slowly coming out of this position, we're going to go ahead and get into Shavasana. So having our legs a little bit wider than hip width apart, having our palms facing the sky so we can be in a receiving position for whatever it is our higher power or the universe would like to present to us. And if that bothers you, or if that is something you don't like, maybe think to yourself, why does that bother you? Why is that an issue for you? And really spend some time on that. It's not something that is brought up in jest or in cruelty or in misunderstanding of the numerous faiths that are out there. It's just, a simple, nice guided thing after yoga. Being proud of yourself for completing the practice, being grateful to yourself for completing the practice. That's so awesome. I'm so proud of you. Taking nice deep breaths in and breaths out. Being grateful for the practice of yoga, being grateful for all of the beautiful things that you have in your life that you don't give yourself enough time to stop and think about and appreciate. Trying to see the beauty in as many things as possible and trying to live life as happy as possible. Being well and staying wild, of course, but also true happiness, joy. Extending an arm out, we're going to go ahead, bring our feet in, let our knees fall to the side, and we're going to go ahead and come into a kneeling or a sitting position. I am so honored that you chose to join me today for today's practice, and I am so grateful. Thank you so much to the new subscribers. I am really, really blessed and thankful. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and or join. It is popping off in the memberships. We're having a lot of fun. And I will see you on the next video. Be well, stay wild.